Hey there, this is Adam from AdamViolin.com, back here again for you with another gear review. Today I'm going to talk about bows. These are violin bows, and these are very special violin bows to me. These are carbon fiber bows. Now, I played in a symphony orchestra for a lot of years, and I never, ever, ever would have touched a carbon fiber bow. One day my student shows up with one, and I gave it a try, and I fell in love. And I started kind of doing a little investigating about all these different bows, and fortunately my friends down at the electric violin shop in North Carolina sent me up a couple bows to try recently, and I am thrilled to say that the results were fantastic. So I picked my two kind of favorites, and I thought I would talk a little bit about them today. These are both made by Coda bow, and you'll notice right off the bat that they look just a little bit different than one another. At the frog, you can see this one is kind of a standard frog on the bow, and this one is a little bit different. I thought I would talk about both of these. Now, this one, I'll start with the kind of the more regular of the two, is called the Diamond, and the model is the GX. These bows are braided carbon fiber, and for a long time these carbon fiber bows, they didn't really have the feel of a really fine bow. It was hard to get a real warm sound out of them. They were kind of known for being kind of lifeless, at least in my opinion. And but Coda has done an amazing job. I've heard that they've been kind of like impregnating the carbon fibers with all sorts of resins and all sorts of magic going on there, and it's amazing what they have done. The bows are, for the most part, extremely strong. I mean, there's some definite flex. You can see I'm just giving it a regular kind of bow hold, and they definitely flex, which is a nice thing because you don't want a stick that's too stiff or the hair won't wrap around the string. But at the same time, it's not a floppy stick. You don't want to play with a bow that's always bottoming out every time you hit it. So the balance is fantastic. This bow here feels very much like the fine French bow that I play with by Victor Fatique. And I don't take that bow out all that much anymore. I'm a little rough when I play rock and pop and kind of hip hop stuff on the violin. So, I started going in this direction, and honestly, I'm thrilled with these bows. I don't worry about them. They're strong. They can take a beating. They're made out of like the same stuff that bulletproof vests are made out of, and it's just fantastic. Everything about the bow is, the kind of the fit and finish is just superb. Real ebony frog, real leather, good silver winding. Everything, turns just right. I mean, it's just fantastic workmanship. This particular bow, the Diamond GX by Coda bow, plays, I would say, a little bit less aggressively than the other, which is the one I'm about to show you right now. Now this bow is the Coda bow Joule, and it's Joule. I don't know if you can actually see that there or not. But the Joule is as in the electrical term Joule, because they've designed this one to play electric violins. Now, I'm not sure what that means, and we'll have to find out from the people at Coda. But I do know that I like it, and especially on my 5-string Realist Pro violin that I play with most of the time now when I'm playing amplified. I find that I'm able to get a really pretty rich, dark, aggressive tone with this. Now, I'm not sure if it has to do with the balance, but it feels quite good in the hand. There's nothing about it that feels strange, even though that frog, again, it's got kind of this kind of sweep to it. The color of the bow it's pure black when compared to the GX, Diamond GX, which is like a brownish carbon fiber. But they both have that same kind of pattern. It's probably going to be hard to see on the video camera, but it's like a braided carbon fiber. The flexibility of the Joule is, I would say, just a touch less. Now, this is a testament, though, to this bow, and I want to show you up close. They sent me these two bows, and I like them both a lot. But as you all know, you can only play one bow at a time. So which bow do I play more? Well, you can see the bow right here is the Joule, is missing about 25% of its hair. And that's not because they didn't send good hair. The hair was just fine. It's because I play it all the time. I love this bow. I picked this bow up. It just feels great in my hand. This extra kind of stiffness that comes with this bow, I find really does a good job of bringing out the lower strings on my violin. And you know, the other day I was like, well, I wonder if I would like this bow on my you know, fine kind of old acoustic violin, and I do. I love it on this one too. I find that I'm used to a bow that's a little more supple with this. So then I was like, well, let me see what the GX sounds like. And I pulled that out, and that felt much more natural on an acoustic. You know, you see me going to that C string, I keep going up to that 5th string as if there's another one there. That's how used I am to playing the 5-string fiddle now. The GX, I would say, is a little bit more well suited for acoustic playing. If you were thinking that you were going to do both, there's nothing wrong with the Joule. In fact, it's a great compromise between the two. It's not so harsh that it doesn't pull a good sound out of the violin. I guess if I had to buy them in order, I would get the Joule first if you're playing at all, you know, any sort of electronic instrument that might have a slightly less resonant body. The RVP, these are the realist violins now. This is, of course, the Joule, which feels really good in my hand, probably because I'm used to it by now. I have a little more trouble getting bite, which has kind of always been my complaint. Is, you know, when you have a 5-string violin, it's got kind of a wobbly C string. That low string is a little bit hard to play because it's not quite the right length. You know, like a viola is a little bit longer, and it just makes that string kind of come alive. And I kind of was just realized that, well, there's nothing I can do about it. And then I called the guys up at the electric violin shop in North Carolina and said, hey guys, you know, what do you got that could help spice it up? You got a special string? And they said, no, we got a bow. And I said, well, I don't think a bow is going to make a difference. But sure enough, they sent the Joule up, and it just tears right into that C string. No problem. All the kind of acrobatic stuff that you can do with the bow is just magnified with these carbon fiber bows. They're really amazing. Coda obviously did some pretty significant research into what violinists want. You know, a lot of people are really uptight and want to make sure that they're spiccato. You know. So it bounces nice there. The faster spiccato, of course, it kind of starts flying off by itself. No problem. You know, if you get into some sort of like Mendelssohn violin concerto lick where you're crossing string. Absolutely fantastic response. And again, this is the Joule that I'm using right now. But on top of that, you know, when you start getting into rock violin or pop violin playing, there's just a lot more percussive techniques. One that I use a lot, you know, I'm sure you've seen the chop. And you want a bow that is stiff enough that it stops when it kind of hits. You don't want it to kind of soak into the violin or be like spongy. You want it to pretty much be pretty rigid. So you know, that no problem right there. And then another thing that I do a lot is I'll actually do kind of a flying with like a ricochet bowing. And under amplification, that sounds incredible. I wouldn't do that with a fine, wooden bow like a Pernambuco bow or anything that had too much value, because eventually you're gonna break it. Another great thing about these carbon fiber bows is you turn them over and they're drumsticks, right? So I'll do a lot of right on the bridge, and that bridge transmits the sound right to the pickup in my 5-string violin and 4-string realist violins, and it doesn't hurt the carbon fiber bow. You just don't worry about these bows as much. They're so kind of bulletproof. It's just fantastic. So fantastic work, guys, at Coda. I can't say enough good things about either of these bows. On top of all that, they're not that expensive. I mean, I know that when you get into the hundreds of dollars, they're expensive. Bows are expensive, but don't skimp and get a cheap carbon fiber bow. Get one that plays like a real bow. At the same time, I know that there are some companies out there making $3,500, $4,000, or $5,000 carbon fiber bows. I haven't tried any of those, and if y'all want to send me one of those, I'm happy to try it. And if I like it, I'll give it a review. But I can't imagine being happier if I was playing classically full time. I would get the Diamond Coda Bow Diamond GX. That's this one right here with that frog, the squared off frog. If I was playing either a combination of electric and acoustic, just electric, or like an acoustic electric violin like I have, I would highly recommend the Coda Bow Joule. Again, absolutely thrilled. Thanks for sending me these bows, guys, down at the Electric Violin Shop. Love them. You just try to get them back and you'll see what happens. Thanks a lot.